Hello reformers and welcome back to Warsword Conquest. We're going to attempt to take one of the Bretonnian towns today and hopefully we'll do okay. I mean, there are over 450 units in the garrison here, so it might be a bit tough considering we don't... Oh, hello there. Okay, well this seems like a very unique layout. I'm not used to this, that's for sure, but... Anyway, as I was about to say, we don't have that many Poisoned Wind Globadiers any further. I have done, well, shall we say, maybe not a mistake, so to speak, but it's something that's a little bit different because, well, as I said to you in a previous episode, I was going to attempt to transition from a somewhatly, kind of pure ranged army into something a little bit more versatile by incorporating many high-tier infantry and things like that. And I've done that, for the most part. I do have quite a few Storm Vermin. I have about 30 of those. And we have about, I think, 18 Eshin Assassins. And they are obviously extremely cool. I mean, personally, I feel like they're really cool. And watching them work is very fun. But otherwise, as a result of this, and me attempting to do this in, well, basically en masse, I've just basically gotten a whole bunch of gutter runners and leveled those up into Eshin Assassins, and potential Eshin Assassins, that is. And as a result of that, it has made things a little bit dwindling on the ranged side, so I don't have that many units up and coming to level up into Poisoned Wind Globadiers, so obviously we are going to be a bit lacking on that side for a little bit of time, which is not obviously optimal, but hopefully it's going to shall we say, right itself in due time, because we will be able to do a pretty decent job of assaulting the walls like we are doing now, where ranged units are not exactly the best, and so that's what I was attempting to do by transitioning, as I say, from ranged to melee. So let's see if I can maybe get a couple of kills here. Oh yeah, by the way, I should probably report on my status, considering I contracted the plague the other day, and, well... The plague has run its course, and I no longer have it. And according to a couple of you in the comments, I could have purchased a potion and used that to cure myself. But, well, I did not need that, because it just ran its course, as I said, and didn't really need to worry about it any further. But yes, that's definitely something that we need to be a bit more aware of in future, that there is a potion like that. I did know that there was a potion like that, but I obviously forgot about it. And otherwise, this is actually a really cool, unique layout. And I love these kinds of layouts, because being able to run through a town, just killing anything we need to kill, and looking at everything that is, here, and it's just really, really nicely done, and especially considering the developers have obviously thought very closely about tactical decisions and strategy as well, because you can think to yourself, hey, look at this bridge, it's a great bottleneck, it's a great bottleneck. If the AI was a little bit smarter, then they would very easily be able to kind of hold us here, but obviously we kind of have very strong units right now. We're currently fielding a whole bunch of rat ogres, which is making a big difference with our push across the bridge here. I'm a bit worried about me being such low in HP right now, because, well, I did get shot numerous amount of times by some of those Bretonnian longbowmen, which is obviously not great, but, well, can't really do much about... Oh yeah, and I actually got killed right there. Oh, there we go. Slythe's just having a good old fun time. And, oh yeah, by the way, about the title, I'm going to be renaming Slythe very, very soon. I just want to make sure I pick the right name, and I'm going to go through all the comments and try and see what I'm going to select eventually. And, well, maybe it will be something, maybe a combination between my own ideas and some other people's, and we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully kind of cool. But, yeah, obviously, the big cheese is kind of a thing, but I don't know whether that's going to happen. Anyway, let's see how we do against these fellows here. I mean, there are so many units along the riverbank, and I mean, here's the thing. Once we get down off the bridge, it's going to be a very easy siege to complete, but that's the point. How are we going to get off the bridge if all these guys keep coming up here to try and defend it? Alright, so eventually after a little bit of time I decided to retreat here, mainly because, well, we were kind of getting a bit stagnant and not really making too much progress, and I kind of thought, hey, you know what, it would probably make sense for us to just retreat, come back in here and see what we can do in the next round. You can see here that we did gain a good amount of morale as well, and it's going to take another 3 hours from Joseph building, and it's going to be easy enough for us to get those ladders back up and running. And look at that, the Blood Bowl Stadium in our hometown has been completed, so that's actually pretty fantastic. So let's yeah, there seems to be some weird thing going on with the siege equipment, because sometimes I will build with someone and then it will come up and say, hey, you haven't actually built anything, which is a bit weird. I don't know why that happens, but anyway, let's go and lead our soldiers once again. I think there's probably only about another 250 remaining, and this time around I'm going to utilize my long-ranged, well, capability, I guess, or at least try to do that. And also, I'm going to try and do a little bit of micromanaging here as well, because obviously we did lose a lot of globes and Giselles in that previous round, so we're going to just allow our infantry just to go first, and obviously our cavalry as well, and then we will be telling all of our other units to charge forth as well. And you can see here already that our engineers are covering us super nicely, and well, that is going to reduce much of the damage that we will be taking. Good thing I actually raised my shield at that exact moment, otherwise we were going to get shot in the face. Yeah, that was not going to be too good. Anyway, let's see if we're actually able to do like I envisage here. It's going to be a lot easier nowadays because, as I say, in the previous charge we had a number of people that really shouldn't have been there in the mix, and hopefully this time around it will be a little bit different. I'm actually going to get my Giselles to kind of stand here. It's not really going to work out too well because they're on a bridge. Maybe if I can tell them to stand long ways. Yeah, I don't think they're actually going to do that, unfortunately. Yeah, it's not good. It's not really going to work. If only it did, because then we could actually get a number of people firing off to the left side there, and maybe even get an opportunity to, you know, take out a couple of those long-range units, like I just did. Very nice. Okay, our Ashen Assassins are doing a fantastic job, though, as per usual. I mean, we always see them get a good amount of kills, even if they do die. Oh, and there's level 37 for Sly. Very nice. Kind of surprising, but I guess it's not too surprising because we are getting quite a few kills every single siege, so that is pretty good. And I'm going to try and see if I can maybe... Oh, wow. Our Asian Assassins have so much athletic skill. Really? They do. Crazy. Okay, so now I can actually tell my Warplock Giselles to come over here. And we'll see if I can maybe get a couple more kills myself. Maybe just weaken a couple of people. Maybe remove their ward saves, anything like that that is necessary. Ah, we're being shot. We're being shot. Where are we being shot from? Ah, I see. That's where we were shot from beforehand. Okay, so there seems to be a contingent of ranged units on the right side when we go down the bridge on the other side, and that is not very good. That is not very good at all. So I'm gonna hope that we will be able to get by here, and then maybe I will go over there if I can. I really wish I would be able to use healing potions in a siege. That would make so much difference to us, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case here. And thankfully most of these guys are just going to ignore me, and I might be able to go around and kill the ranged units, because the thing is, if I stay up there and I go two-handed, these guys right here are going to snipe me down very quickly indeed, and that would not be pleasant. Oh wow, I'm actually kind of surprised that they... Oh. That was not actually a solid wall. That was not actually a solid wall, as you can see right there. This is not solid, so the AI can actually shoot through this. Ah, well that's not really good, is it? Well, it seems like the enemy is starting to dwindle now, especially considering they have seemingly ceased sending their strongest knights to the front lines, and, well, who would blame them, really? We have a number of rat ogres that have appeared in the battle here, and that is all due to our reinforcements coming in, of course. We also have, obviously, veteran gutter runners, which are eventually going to level up into Eshin assassins, and as I said, I have a pretty significant number of those guys, so if we could see, I don't know, I'm hopeful for about 20 of them to level up into Eshin assassins from this particular siege, but it's a little bit touch and go. It really depends on how much experience is actually gained here. I mean, it's quite a significant amount so far, so I think that's pretty possible to happen. But you can see here that this fellow has found a hiding space. Yes, he has. It's not going to save him though. These Eshin assassins have his number, and there we go. That is indeed a victory. Unfortunately, Slythe was not able to survive the siege, but it is a very cool one indeed. Being able to run through a town, I absolutely love those kinds of sieges. So anytime we get something like that, even if it may be relatively difficult, taking 76 casualties right there, it is still extreme amounts of fun. So there we go, that's good. And, there we go. Okay, I'm actually gonna... Should I, should I just take him prisoner? I'm gonna just take him prisoner, you know. Let's do that. Yeah, let's take this guy prisoner as well. Anyone that we can, let's just take prisoner. Now, what I have done back at Karak-Hern, I did make, I believe it is Aketi. Yeah, I made Aketi our marshal, so he's going to be running around and hopefully commanding our other vassals to do good things. I have no idea what he's doing right now, but hopefully something good. And yeah, it seems like a number of them do respect him enough to follow him, so that's pretty good in my opinion. And I don't exactly know who else to take here, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I could take some Corsair captains and master gunners and things like that. I suppose that's what I'll do, because I do have enough space. And I guess we will take a number of prisoners as well. Probably would have made sense to keep the marshalship and actually, you know, ask our vassals to come with us, but, well, I kind of thought that it might be easier not to. Anyway, you can see here, I've actually made Ripnich. Yes, Ripnich is now one of our vassals, and I'm actually going to give him a second town. He's going to be the first vassal ever that is getting a second town. His first town is, I believe, Talabheim, so he will be quite close to us, which I think is pretty good. And you can see, actually, no, that's not the closest town. Never mind. I'm sure he'll be fine. Yes, well, never mind. Oh, wow, 4 Eshin assassins. Just 4? Are you serious? Wow, okay, so they did not get a good amount of experience right there, but I suppose it would maybe make sense for me to move them a little bit higher in the rankings here. Bear in mind, look at our Globadier population. There's only 6 of them still standing, and, well, I guess that is to be expected, considering most of them did charge in first most of the time when we needed to, you know, rush the battlements, so to speak. And Nagrat is now returning. Yes, basically what I did with him was I sent him off to, well, shall we say, propose a non-aggression treaty with the Skaven. And they actually did not accept it, which is kind of surprising to me. There we go. We are losing 12,000. Alright, well, last week we actually only lost about 8, so something worse happened this week, I suppose, which is kind of annoying, but oh well, never mind. You can see here that my wages for Karak-Hern are just insane. 25,000. If I did not have so many units in there, it could be significantly reduced. Anyway, let's continue onward, and I'm just gonna restore myself for a little bit, and then we will be heading on to the next town. Yeah, I'm switching up my tactics a little bit by targeting a town, or shall we say towns, first. I think that might make the most sense in the long run, because that would then mean that the last remaining vassals that we're going to be fighting are not within a very well defended town garrison, and instead they are in a castle, and obviously a castle is going to be much easier to take. Alright, so we have headed in once more to the next town, and well, let's see what we're going to get here. I have a bad feeling about this actually, because you can see here that this is a shooting gallery, and the targets are a couple of rats. Oh yes, they certainly are, and we are going to probably have some problems here. Unless I can get my people into some decent formations. maybe that would happen. Oh. The king is here. The king himself is here. Well, this is going to be interesting. Well, hopefully my Poison Wind Globadiers will actually start firing away a little bit. And, or should we say throwing. And they are actually doing a fantastic job. There's only 6 of them, or 7. And I think this is probably going to be the last that we will hear of the Globadiers until I am able to, you know, shall we say, re-recruit and get a couple more people leveled up. And they are much easier to level up than the Storm Vermin, that's for sure. Much easier to level up than the Eshin Assassins as well. So it's probably going to be a lot easier for me to do that. Anyway, let's tell our infantry and our cavalry to charge in here. Oh, okay. Things seem to be pretty peaceful up on the battlements. Kind of surprising. Ah, yes. A little bit peaceful. There we go. Okay. Now not so much. Oh, okay. We might be having some problems here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually just going to run by here. Even if I get hit a little bit, it doesn't really matter too much. Because what I would like to do is try and help from the back as much as possible. And even if I'm able to just remove some ward saves and even just do a little bit of damage here and there, as long as I survive, that's all that really matters. There we go. Wow, the Bretonnians, they, you know what, they really just did not know what was about to befall them, really. I mean, having such an insane army just come up on you like that is kind of bad for them, kind of bad, especially considering they have over 590 units in the garrison here. So you can imagine this is going to be much more of a marathon than it is a sprint, as are most sieges, but this one a little bit more than usual. So let's see if we're actually able to do it. And Joseph actually leveled up, very nice. As I say, I'm just going to do a little bit of skirmishing here and there, and as I can't get around my own units blocking my path, I'm going to go down here and see what I can do about maybe thinning the enemy's ranged reinforcements down in the courtyard below, and maybe I can bring out my pistol if I get pinned down at some point. And as I say, I don't really mind about losing any units at this time because I just want to eliminate the Bretonnians as fast as possible, and we'll see if they decide to retaliate at some point. I think they have actually begun a siege against one of our newly conquered Bretonnian fiefs, so obviously that is a bit of an issue, but shouldn't really be something that will prevent us from generally conquering them eventually. And especially considering I'm just running around here randomly hitting anyone I can get my hands on, or anyone I can get my ball and chain on, and yes, they are suffering quite a few losses as a result. I am going to need to head up here though and actually assist with some of the heavier unit types, because even though the ranged units are super easy for me to kill, it is much harder for our own units to deal with these knights than, well, than I would like, of course, but we don't have very many heavy infantry, if any at all, and we are actually starting to lose quite a few units. So let's see if I can thin them out a little bit. And we have to be very cautious here, because obviously ranged units are going to spawn in from below, they're going to start firing away at me, and obviously we are going to have to be a bit careful about reinforcements of the knights coming up on the battlements and being like, hello, we're gonna try and slay you now. Yes, something like that. So let me see if I can maybe do something here. Okay, we're gonna have to be a bit careful. As I say, at least a couple of glancing blows here and there. Even if I do 20 damage, 40 damage here and there, really doesn't matter as long as I'm doing a little bit to help out our forces at the front line. There we go. Yeah, no. We've got to be a bit careful. Really wish my gun had the ability to pierce through multiple enemies. I feel like that would be pretty fun to see, but unfortunately it does not have that functionality. And I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, that is it for the front line. So now we can just fight the current reinforcements coming in. Ah, they're starting to gang up on me now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to literally jump out the window and hopefully not die. Yes, there we go. Phew. Okay. Because you know me. You know me. I've got a pretty long weapon. And it's going to be very difficult to use that in close quarters combat, especially against 3 or 4 guys. You know, they're not really going to know how to, you know, well, I'm not really going to know how to use my weapon against them because there's just so many. And, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an annoyance. So, jumping out of the window is theoretically less damage and less hassle than doing it the other way. So, yeah, that's what I'm deciding to do here because I probably would have ended up dying, let's face it. Probably, because I don't have a close-range weapon. And even though the ball and chain is, in my opinion, one of my favorite weapons of all time in Warsword Conquest, and maybe in all mods, actually, because it is just so cool. It has that crushing through blocks and everything, and, you know, bonus against shields. And, yeah, so it's pretty fun to use. But otherwise, it really is just not very good in close quarters combat. That's the one thing that it has as a big drawback. But isn't that the case for every two-handed weapon? I think so, probably. Anyway, let's see if I can maybe do some damage to these huntsmen and everything. They are going to be... I'm dead, I think. Am I dead? Soon. Very, very soon. Yep, there we go, there we go. Almost. I'm dancing around, Oh, wow, I'm actually going to survive. If I survive this, that is going to be kind of a miracle. And I think it is. I did. I actually survived. Can you believe it? With well, a sliver of HP. So, yes, I guess it's not, you know, not a total victory, but there you go. 35 renown and 30 morale. I think that's the greatest amount of renown we've ever gotten from a siege in recent memory. But anyway, we did lose quite a few units as a result of that. 57 were killed. But we did eliminate a total of 425. We do now have to go into the streets, however, and I have learnt my lesson not to switch to my gun just yet. This guy has a ward save, annoyingly enough. Joseph, I'm not entirely sure how good Joseph is right now. Not very good by the looks of things, because he just got himself killed. But that's okay, because I will be able to carry us, hopefully, to victory. Let's see. There's only... oh no, there's only 2 of us left. There we go, yes. Is that it? Yes, that is actually it. Phew! Can you imagine failing at that hurdle right there and then? That would have been pretty awful, but another 34 renown is our reward. Very nice indeed. And now, let us go into the keep and see what we have to deal with here. This is going to be very difficult, in my opinion, because these guys are going to have ward saves, I think. No, they don't. Okay, they either did and they were already spent, or... something, but yeah, I was highly thinking that I was very easily going to get shot by one of those ranged units, but they decided to focus on the guy with the shield, which is a little bit questionable, but well, what can you do? I'm pretty happy with that. 34 renown is also a very nice bonus. Alright, so yeah, it seems like we have the king, I think, himself. He seems to have a crown here, so we are going to be taking him prisoner. And let's see what else we can get here. So we did lose a very good amount of units, and hopefully they have a good amount for us to take. A sumo warrior? Wow, okay. I was not expecting that. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to start from the bottom here, and I'm just going to try and recruit everyone. I think there's probably enough space in our army to be able to do that. Alright, so as you can see, we took those Corsairs and we took the various rabble as well, because they do actually level up into Corsairs as well, and they might actually be kind of effective at some point. Anyway, we're going to just take a little bit of loot here. This loot is really not entirely worth it anyway, but, oh well, I guess a little bit of cash is better than nothing. And, well, what else are we going to do with this particular town? Well, we could give it to someone. I suppose we could give it to Lord Skeezel, because he seems to have the least amount of castles, as well as obviously a town, but we'll give it to Lord Skeezel. I think he's actually pretty good with the amount of units he has, and we're going to split it. We're going to plunder it and, you know, share the spoils and everything, and there we have it. Okay, so we also have 15 Eshin assassins to add to our ranks, so we now have a total of 31, which is pretty amazing in itself. And what else do we have here? Anyone else leveled up? No, that does not seem to be the case. Okay, so I'm actually just going to level this guy up into a Warblock Engineer. Having 1 Poison Wind Globadier is probably not going to make too much sense. And what are we going to do with Joseph here? I'm actually going to give him 1 extra point in Charisma, and we might start leveling him into leadership. So the next couple of levels we will probably level him 1 more point in charisma, and then a couple more points in intelligence, and just get him maxed out in leadership, because it would be kind of nice to have him as a vassal at some point as well. Even though he does have a pretty decent amount of trade skill and engineering. We do have Katya, who does have engineering anyway, and we're not doing that much trading anymore. I probably will go back to do some salt trading before we move on, but yeah, I think for the moment we're just going to, you know, stay with what we have here. And I think that's it. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. All right, so we have dealt a very decisive blow. Okay, so apparently the Bretonnians did take this castle back, but that is really not a big deal. I mean, we just took something with over 600 units in it, and did a decent enough job, in my opinion. So yeah, that is that. And there's only going to be, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 castles? Well, there's only going to be 3 more castles that I'm going to show, actually, because obviously I'm going to go over there real quick and take that castle back off screen. But otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.